that. Oh my goodness. The media just wants to be, they just want us to be dumb.
It also has a
They
different
do because
those young leaders
and
rose up in the southern state as opposed to other parts of the county. It is much more of an uphill fight than you are when you are in a more hostile state.
But what is in a hostile state?
but but that's just it. Like I had a wonderful conversation with a white guy I know, trying to be careful what I say it. The white guy I know, conservative background, really good dude. And we're getting in, we're just having a good conversation that you shouldn't have at work, but we're doing it anyway. And basically, he's sharing with me some of the frustrations he has in his perspective and things like that. And he's a very religious person too. Um, so I view, you know me, I'll speak your language back to you. So I was helping him see things from another angle, from other communities' angles, using his own words and his own belief system. These are things that can be done if people will have the energy to do it. See, what we're also kind of dealing with is these hostile states, as we call them, to the other side, they don't even realize it, right? It's not that they're ignoring it, they flat out don't see it because it's not how they view the world. So, yeah, Tennessee is a hostile state. Somebody needs to expose that, right? When you look at MSNBC, CNN, MSNBC, CNN, um,
Yeah, because does nobody watch the other one?
and some
Every other
other like
one.
YouTube and YouTube options and things like that. Because I'm not trying to convince those other people, the ones that are so dug in, you can't forget them. You got to fight them, okay? But there's still people out there who are against you without knowing why they're against you. And if you give them information, they'll find themselves on your side, right? Because they also want safety for children. They want opportunities in the workforce. They want all the same things, but they've been brought up in a culture that has blinded them to how your needs match theirs. Those are the ones you can deal with. And the media, instead of helping anyone make sense of this world, which they could do, instead of trying to help people make sense of the world, they just basically say, "Ooh, this is happening, and you should be scared, or you should be angry." See, on the right, they tell people to be scared. On the left, they tell us to be angry, and then let us fight each other.
Yeah. Bo of the fifth column had a story today. And it was what you said, Theas. He got a letter from somebody who is an old time conservative. And old time conservatives are small government, you know, stay out of our business, let us do what we want to do type conservatives. They still exist.
They think they do.
No, they do. They just go
Just
about what you were saying, Theas. Because the question was, how come, I don't care about transgenders. It doesn't bother me one time. They can do whatever they want to. So how come, and now I'm going about exactly what Theas was talking about. So how come Democrats is slowing everything down to fight this? And Bo had to tell him, understands something is that transgenders in this country is a small group of people, which means they don't have the fight that a larger group of people would have. So they need somebody to fight for them. But now what you need to understand is one thing. And he said, if you're being honest with yourself, I'm going to ask you a question, be honest with yourself. But there's such a small group that conservatives are going out of their way to shut them down, to silence them, to keep them quiet, to change them. And if all of that fails, then they're gonna get their side to fear them and hate them. So if you are small, if you want the small government and like you used to, but yet the government is the one that's getting into everything that pertains to them, then it's not the Democrats that's slowing everything down.
Yeah, the analogy I gave to this young man I was speaking with is, and it fits in what you're saying, is I said, okay, so think of America like a big room, a big auditorium, right? And we're all in there, all the groups, whatever, however you want to identify yourself, whatever your demographic breakdown is, your affiliations, we're all in that auditorium. But for an extended period of time, only white men and their allies were allowed to speak. They're the only ones able to talk. Everyone else, under force of law or custom, knew not to say anything. You could only be present. So to that group who's able to speak, it's civilized. It's orderly. You don't raise your voice. You take turns. You debate the issues. You make decisions. Very civilized. But slowly you start allowing other groups in that room to have a voice. And now there's a little bit more volume in the room. So you have to speak a little louder than you're accustomed to. You're getting less time to state your case than you're accustomed to. And then they keep adding more groups, more people who have the opportunity to speak. Soon enough, that auditorium sounds much more like a cafeteria than it did the halls of Congress. Because now you are forced to share your time with people who have been having a buildup of frustration of not being heard. So you're hearing Spanish voices, Black voices, Asian voices. You're hearing different language styles, different dialects. You're hearing different grievances. You're hearing all of these things. And now all of a sudden, you who have always had the ability to talk on a low level are screaming to be heard, still being ignored, being told that you're a bully because you're not listening to anyone else and you're not giving anyone else any time. And now you feel set upon. That is today's America. So now you have a situation where it's loud. Everybody is needing to be heard. No one's willing to give any ground. And you feel like you're losing your America. When in fact, you're not losing your America. It's the same America. It's just now other people get to talk.
Funny, I thought all Republicans or right-leaning people wasn't worth the time talking to. Internet isn't working. Well, sorry, everyone. I'm sorry, Anna.
I'm sorry, Anna.
No, we've said on this show there are Republicans that you can talk with. You're not going to agree on anything, and I've met a lot of civilized conservative people in my life that I can hold conversations with. They have their say, I have my say. We disagree on it. We go, and everything is cool. The ones that you know, we have new people watching this show, so I have to always start off the show as if we're brand new. This is our first episode and everything else, and nobody heard any of the stuff that we talked about. So I have to keep that in mind that we have brand new people going in and out. You know the people that you can't hold a conversation with if you know beyond a shadow of a doubt that they're saying the exact same thing that's been saying since 2016. By that time, it's time to just say, you know what? This is the part where you figure it out. And some people have figured it out, but they fall into three categories. The lesser of the two evils is, you know what? I was wrong. This is wrong. Everything I thought is wrong. I don't want to do this no more. Y'all are crazy. I'm done. The worst of the three is, let's agree to disagree, but I still think that I'm right and everything else. I see what you're saying, and it may not be as bad as I thought it was, but it's still pretty bad out there. The middle ground is the ones that irks the crap out of me the most. It's the ones that admit in their head, this was wrong, this is bad, this is terrible, we had no business doing this. But I am so entwined because of my family and because of my friends and because of my church. I'm just going to keep my head down and my mouth shut and just nod my head yes to all this crap that I don't even believe in anymore. You are the ones that gets on my nerve the most. Because I don't even have to deal with the lesser. You figured it out. It was wrong. You changed your ways. I ain't got to deal with the worst of the worst, because for what? I'm not going to hold a conversation with you. But you in the middle that knows it's wrong, and you stand by it and allow it simply because I'm surrounded by wrong. My family still believe in it. My church still believe in it. My friends still believe in it. My community still believe in it. My block still believes in it. My next door neighbor still believe in it. My dog still believes in it. So even though I got the fortitude and the mindset to stop believing in it, no. You're the ones that bother me the most. Because you know what's right and wrong, and you still decide that I'm just not going to get into the middle of this. I like the way things are right now. So while you're sitting there watching people who have no problem starting another freaking lynching law, why the hell are we even still talking about lynching in 2023? How is that still a effing subject? You stand by, just no big deal. Taking rights away from people, yeah, it's wrong, but I'm gonna still stand by and watch it happen. Somebody have an abortion that has the chance of killing not only the child but the mother themselves. Stand by and watch somebody who makes a law that is legal for a 12-year-old girl to get married. And you're fine with it. Well, no, I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. You're not fine with it. You just refuse to say anything about it. You're the ones I dislike the most. You're the ones that I don't even trust the most. Because you're the person this is the person that will pull me to the side and go, yeah, I don't believe in that stuff, but then in the sentence all with, but that's between you and me.
Me, yeah.
Well, funny enough, well, two parts I'll say. If I'm understanding like Anna's, comment, because I've even said something in that line, right? And the the weirdest thing is, I fully believe, and it could be a false belief, but I fully believe that I am one of the few people that could talk to people from other ideologies and other positions and find ways to work through um, reasonings to get somewhere. The problem is, I don't want to. It's exhausting. I've been doing it for too long. And so there are those who can reach people on the other side, quote unquote, other side, because there's not really another side. Let's just be real. It's a spectrum, it's a continuum. But those who are ideologically opposed. And I just don't feel like I should have to spend that energy. I don't feel like it's my job to help save white America from white America. It's not my job to break through the hearts and minds of other people, even though I think I am personally pretty well situated to do some of it. Because I get where people are coming from. They're not just bad, like comic book villains where everybody's just good and everybody's just bad. It's far more nuanced than that in most cases. So it was what I found entertaining or funny or ironic or what have you is like with Marlon, when you were saying that middle group that upsets you the most. For me, that's the group I can deal with more. And here's my reason why. The people who are like that just die hard against me and other vulnerable groups, I have no interest in you. I literally have no problem looking at that group and saying, that's an enemy. And I will fight that enemy. I don't care about conversions. I don't care about understandings. I don't care about nothing. I'm a fight. I'm going to fight you 1 degree harder than you were going to fight me. So if you come to me with a hand, I'm coming to you with a fist. You come to me with a brick, I'm coming to you with a rock, right? That's how I view that group. There's no working with them. Even if they decide they want to work with me during the fight, no, we're going to finish the fight and that's it. I'm done with you. But that middle group, like the little old lady who stopped me when I worked in retail back in like 08, 09, and was like, I like Obama. He seems like a nice guy. But you know he's a Muslim. Right? That type of person.
She said that
I
out
swear
loud.
it happened. It happened. She pulled me aside though. It was
Let me guess.
that, like
She was
Marlon
not.
pointed
She
out.
didn't look like us, right?
No, she's a little old white lady.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
But like I've had other like white folks say stuff to me over the years. Like they'll be talking, normal conversation, nothing negative or whatever. We just come from 2 different worlds. And they'll slip and say, yeah, but I've always liked colored people. Right? Like you'll hear these things happen, and some people would immediately get angry. But I try to look at things in the context of the moment. So if we're having a good conversation, we're digging into things, or we're just really just vibing off each other, and then you say something off kilter, like I've always liked colored people, or you people are nice, or is it true you like watermelon, but everything else we talked about was okay? I'm not mad at you. I understand that you said something off kilter because where you come from, that might be what you guys say, right? That's not going to make me go to war with you. See, that's that middle group that Marlon, I'm saying I can somewhat work with them if I'm in the mood to work with them, because they're not maliciously against me. They're just about as dangerous as the other ones, because if they call a lynching party and they got me strung up to pull up on a tree, they're the ones who ain't going to step out there and save me. Okay? But they're not the ones who went and got the horse, and they're not the ones who slung the rope, and they're not the ones who tied the knot. See? So it's nuanced. There's levels to it. And it's also based on how any one of us feel at the time that we're interacting with you. Right? This person I just told you about from the other conversation is someone that we've had conversations over the years. It's someone that, even though I don't agree with their political philosophy, I have a fair sense of their heart. I have a fair sense of their decency. I know how they view their family. I know how they view their community. I know how they view fairness. but they got some pieces in the wrong places. So we can talk and we can explore. But no, and the people who are on the right at this point, if you still support Donald Trump at this stage of the game,
Yeah,
Bye. They ain't
at
got nothing to
this
fight
stage
for
of the
what.
game,
yeah, we done, dude. No.
you might be the perfect person to be converted by somebody else.
Else, yep.
Yeah, it ain't me.
Because it
It's
ain't gonna
gonna
be me. I
It
ain't, I
ain't.
ain't got it.
it takes a power greater than me because I ain't got it. I don't care. Bye. See you. Go stay
No.
on your side of the street and I'll stay on mine.
Parker, I'm gonna go through your question real quick because we almost up on, and I got 2 more videos to show you. But in layman's terms, if these 2 gentlemen, so I'm not even gonna show it because I got it. In layman's terms, if the years go on, and one of these 2 guys run for Senate, U.S. Senate, what would you think there would be any difference as compared, because they're a flat out red state? Would a comparison be like Booker in Kentucky?
Yep, the same thing would happen. They would both lose.
Okay.
Under the current political dynamics?
Yeah, under current, unless
Yeah.
something just
Because
dramatically changes, like the racial makeup. If
yeah,
everything was just like, yeah, they lose. I mean,
yeah.
you have Tennessee and Kentucky both. Might as well throw Indiana in there. Have the worst people sitting in the U.S. Senate, and somehow
Yep.
they keep getting voted back every year. Why?
Yeah.
Because that's what enough people want. And see, that's the other side of this entire discussion that's super important for those who see the world somewhat like me to zone in on. Okay? Stop thinking that people are one conversation or solid argument away from changing their mind.
They won't.
Stop it.
I mean, I'm
Okay?
gonna say they won't. It's gonna be hard to change their mind.
It ain't gonna be one conversation.
One
No.
conversation did not start them on this route.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
one's not gonna get them out of it.
So one
It's that
conversation is going
figment.
to take them off of it.
If I
Yeah, it's
just,
that figment.
yeah, I think I was watching another. I'm sorry, Tia, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was watching another podcast where one host was definitely like on our side, like you can't talk to Trump supporters, and the other person was saying, "Oh, but you just got to talk to the why? Why am I talking to people who literally stormed Washington D.C. talking about they sent the beams, the votes were for Trump, but they sent the beams up to the Catholic satellite, and they changed it. Why am I having a conversation with you? Why?
Because
Why?
these are the problem, and that's the sickness of America because it centers whiteness. And in this particular respect, when I say it's centering whiteness, it automatically creates an exception zone where it's the fallacy that unlike every other group, the white community, you just got to show them the way.
Yep, if you just
That's
talk
all.
to them, no,
You just got to see them as people and just show them the way. I'm saying that argument should be used for everybody, and the fact is, it's not. So the magical thing that the Democratic Party is always chasing is the magical swing voter. That is code
yeah,
for
that
white
doesn't,
voter.
yeah,
That's
that's
all
like,
that is. That's
yeah, why don't
code
they
for
just
white
say we
voter.
want white people to vote for us? And end it. Nope, they got to go for swing vote. You're not getting them to vote for you. They're not going
But
to
they
vote
don't
for you.
use that similar logic for trying to get black people to vote differently or Latinos. They don't do it that way
Nope.
because it's not automatically assumed that we are rational. And so when I hear people say, well, you got to still reach out to the Trump Republicans and you
No, I
still got to
don't.
reach out to and I'm like, no, because they're just like everyone else. They made an intentional decision.
A
These
conscious
people are
one.
not being fooled. They're not being tricked into something. They're not 5-year-olds. You don't get to. It's like when people say something racist and then turn around and be like, "Well, I didn't know."
Yeah, I lived
Well,
here, man.
you're 20% of the global population and you run 100% of the world. You are not ignorant.
But they sure want
Stop it.
us to believe they are. You got to talk to them. No, I don't.
And the funny thing is, I don't even think people who say talk to Trumpists or whatever is speaking in good faith. I just don't. I have an underlying reason, and I'm just speaking for myself and myself only. I don't think you're even doing that in good faith because they have conditioned me to go, what the freaking is the underlying reason for all this? And one of the underlying reasons I have figured out is you don't want me to speak to the Trumpist Republicans because you think I can change their mind. You want me to speak to the Trumpist Republicans because you think they can change my mind. And I keep trying to explain to you that, and I keep drilling this in. You couldn't change my mind in a million years, dude, because you're saying the same things in 2016. We're in 2020.
Yo, Marlon, it's even worse. It's even worse. It's not even that they want you to talk to them so they can change your mind. They want you to talk to them because they can't face that anybody could really be that bad on their side.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? They can't face that, like, you have good and bad people and variations thereof of every group, right? I don't care how you break them down. But for some reason, a lot of our allies, to use a word, on the left have such a hard time confronting the right because the people on the right are their uncles, their cousins, their mothers or their fathers. So it's hard for them to look at these people and say that they are diehard bad people in this time. They're the villains of the moment.